Today, we are diving into one of the biggest, most important conversations happening in tech right now, human-centered AI. We're going to break down the key trends that are shaping how we and AI are going to work together for years to come. It really all boils down to this single fundamental question. As AI gets more and more powerful, what's its actual role in our lives? Is it just a better tool, like a superpowered hammer? Or is it more like a new colleague, a teammate? Or, and this is the big one, is it here to replace us? And here's the wild part. That answer? It isn't set in stone. It's being actively designed and decided right now by researchers, by developers, by all of us. And the whole thing hinges on this one powerful idea we're here to talk about, human-centered AI. But, before we get to the solution, we've got to really understand the problem. For decades, the way we've thought about AI has created something that researchers are now calling the automation trap. So here's the fundamental choice, the real fork in the road. On one side, you've got automation, where the goal is to just cut the human out of the loop, make a task happen without them. On the other side, you have augmentation, where the goal is to make the human way more powerful, more creative, more effective. For a long time, the dream of AI has been a partnership, but the reality? It's often leaned pretty hard toward just simple replacement. And look, this isn't just some gut feeling people have. It's a real documented trend. As this quote points out, for years, the default setting for building AI has been automation, even though all this research existed on more collaborative, human-first approaches. So, the big question is, how do we get out of this trap? Well, a new philosophy is picking up some serious steam, and it's pushing the entire field to change its focus from just replacing people to actually empowering them. And that is human-centered AI, or HCAI. It's a formal discipline, and it has a really simple but incredibly powerful goal. Let's stop trying to just build smarter machines. Instead, let's build machines that make us smarter, more capable, and more creative, all while making sure they line up with our basic human values. Okay, that sounds great in theory, right? But does this whole partnership thing actually work better in the real world? Is a human AI team really better than a human or an AI working all on its own? Well, the data is starting to come in, and the answer is a pretty clear yes. And this chart really drives the point home. Take a look. It's from a 2026 study where experts rated scientific abstracts. Now, the stuff written only by an AI, yeah, it scored the lowest. Humans on their own did better. But look at that third bar, the clear winner. That's when a human wrote the first draft, and then an AI helped edit it. It was rated highest on everything. Quality, trustworthiness, it's just perfect proof for HCAI's core idea. Augmentation totally beats automation. Okay, so we know why HCAI is a big deal, but how do you actually build it? How do you turn this cool philosophy into something real for the thousands of developers who are actually building this stuff today? This is where things get really practical. Researchers didn't just stop at the idea. They've built what's called the HCAI Methodological Framework, or HCIMF for short. And you can basically think of it as the instruction manual, the blueprint, that gives developers a real structured process for building these systems. The framework is built on 5 key pillars. It starts with a requirement hierarchy to make sure everyone's clear on the goals. It gives developers a method taxonomy, which is kind of like a toolbox of different approaches. It lays out a structured process so the work is consistent. It insists on interdisciplinary collaboration, getting different kinds of experts in the room. And finally, it uses multi-level design paradigms to make sure we're thinking about the big picture. So let's make that less abstract. What does this look like in the real world? Well, that requirements hierarchy, that's what makes sure safety is the #1 goal in a self-driving car's co-pilot system. The method taxonomy, that gives designers the actual tools to make an AI's brain transparent so we can understand its choices. And the agency-first framework, that's huge because it tackles one of the biggest problems we're facing with AI right now. Which brings us right to the cutting edge. Generative AI has totally changed how we interact with machines, and in doing so, it's created a whole new set of challenges that HCAI is now trying to solve. This is a big one. Think about it. We used to give computers direct commands. Click this, open that, but now with tools like ChatGPT or Midjourney, we don't command anymore. We just specify. We describe what we want in a prompt and then, hope for the best. And this little shift has created a really subtle but massive problem. Researchers have a name for it, the agency gap. And you've probably felt this. It's that frustrating moment when the AI gives you something that's almost perfect, but you have no way to just nudge it or tweak it. You can't really steer the process. You're stuck. You've lost your agency. So how do we fix this? Well, the HCAI solution is fascinating. It's actually kind of counterintuitive. It's called productive friction. Instead of making AI faster and more seamless, the idea is to intentionally slow things down. Add a few extra steps, give the user more dials to turn, more control points. It's all about prioritizing your brain and your control over just raw speed. Okay, so better interfaces are one huge piece of the puzzle. But for human-centered AI to really work, we need to think bigger. We need society-level guardrails, rules, and principles to make sure AI is being used fairly and safely for everyone. And this has led to a set of core principles for what we call trustworthy AI. And these aren't just, nice ideas. They're becoming the absolute minimum requirements. We're talking about systems that are fair, that are accountable, transparent, reliable, safe, and, this is the big one, always under meaningful human control. And this isn't just talk. This thinking is directly shaping major policy. You've got massive regulations like the EU AI Act that are basically taking these HCAI principles and writing them into law. They're creating the official rules of the road for anyone building and using AI.
All right, let's pull this all together. From escaping that automation trap to closing the new agency gap, it's pretty clear we're in the middle of a massive, profound shift in how we think about and build artificial intelligence.
Here's the main thing to walk away with. The future of AI isn't just going to happen to us. It's the sum total of thousands of tiny design choices being made every single day. Choosing to augment people instead of automating them away. Choosing productive friction over pure speed. These are the choices that are building our future one line of code at a time. So the final question really isn't for the AI, it's for us. As these systems get woven into every part of our lives, our jobs, our society, what are we going to demand from them? Are we okay with just a tool, or are we going to demand a true partner? That's the choice human-centered AI is asking us to make right now.